pray. Amen. We're looking at Mishpatim, which is Exodus 21 to 24. Exodus 21 to 24. Last week's portion was Yitro, explaining that 7 weeks after Exodus from Egypt, Moses gathered them to the foot of the Mount Sinai to enter into a covenant with the Lord, as previously agreed. In a dramatic display of thunder and lightning, bill of smoke and fire, the Lord descended on the mountains and recited the 10 commandments to the people. Upon hearing the law's moral requirements, they shrank back in fear and begged Moses to be the mediator before God. People stood off far while Moses alone drew near to the thick darkness to perceive the Torah from Adonai. So Parashah Mishpatim opens with the Lord saying to Moses, Ve'elecha mishpatim asher tasim lifnechem. Now these are the rules that you shall set before them. Ve'elecha mishpatim. Mishpatim is judgments. Judgments, rules. A well-known Jewish midrash says that the Lord initially offered the Torah to each of the 70 nations and none would accept it without first asking what it is about. After hearing the various commandments, each nation had some excuse or another for not accepting it. For example, he offered it to the Ishmaelites and they declined the offer because of its prohibition on theft, since the trading practices required it. And God finally turned to another nation, the nation of Israel, and said, Kol asher diver Adonai na'esh. Now I say, all that the Lord says we will do. Note something remarkable here. Unlike the other nations, Israel chose the Torah before knowing its contents, 19:8 of Exodus. In fact, even after Moses explained the extent of the Torah's demands, all Israel said, Kol asher diver Adonai na'asher v'nishma, and all the Lord says we will do and obey, 24/7. The heart of the Jew unquestioningly says yes to the Lord, like a child who trusts their father. Halavei, may we also so live. The word mishpatim means rules or ordinances, and is derived from a Hebrew word meaning shafat, which is to judge. The Parashah lists over 11.5% of all the commandments found in the entire Torah, 53 of the 613. These mishpatim include a wide range of civil laws, criminal laws, ritual laws, financial laws, family laws. These civil laws are sometimes referred to as ben adam lechavru, between man and his fellow man. For instance, slavery, avedot, was socially tolerated but was to be practiced in a humane and orderly manner. If a Jewish man was sold into slavery as restitution for theft, he must be freed after no more than 6 years of servitude. If he got married during his servitude, his master was required to support his wife and children. On the other hand, if the master gave the slave his wife during his servitude, he and his children would remain with the master after he was freed. It's kind of like the prison system. After he was freed, unless the man decided to remain with them, in which case he would make a solemn declaration before a court of law, the house of judgment. Beit Don, and have his ear bored with an awl to indicate that he is now part of the master's clan. If a Jewish girl was sold into slavery by her father, she was not automatically freed after 6 years of servitude, but must be redeemed from her master. The sages state that a man could sell his daughter until she reached 12 years of age, but only if it was for her benefit, i.e. with the intent that she was to be married to her master or master's son. If she displeased her master, she could not be resold to a foreigner, but must be redeemed, i.e. purchased back by her own relatives. If she was married to the master or his son, then she was to be treated as a freeborn Jewish woman and all the same rights and privileges. If a master struck and killed his non-Jewish slave, he was to be punished by the law court. However, if the slave died several days after the beating, he was not found liable, because it is assumed that he did not intend to actually kill the slave. If the beating permanently injured the slave. However, he was to be set free. Some laws carried the death penalty. These included premeditated murder, cursing one's parents, kidnapping, practicing witchcraft, engaging in bestiality and offering sacrifices to idols. According to various Jewish sages, the famous statement, an eye for an eye, tooth for a tooth, actually refers to the administration of equitable justice and redress for damages, not corporal punishment. Bava Kama 83b. Other laws and ordinances concern cases of personal injury, the treatment of strangers. Widows and orphans, laws about loans, which must be interest-free between Jews, and various other matters, including the dedication of firstborn sons to the Lord, the prohibition of bearing false witness in courts, the restriction against eating treif, meat of an animal torn by beasts in the field, the law of Shemitah, the 7th year during which the land was to lie fallow, the complete abstention of the work on Shabbat, 3 pilgrimage festivals, Pesach, Pentecost, and Tabernacles, the Sukkot, so that's Passover, Pesach, Pentecost, Shavuot, and Tabernacles, Sukkot.
3 what type of festivals?
Pilgrimage festivals, Pesach, Passover, Shavuot, Pentecost, and Sukkot, Tabernacles. The prohibition of boiling a kid in his mother's milk, from which all sorts of restrictions were derived in later rabbinical formulations of kosher law. Those see Genesis 18:18 and so on. After giving these various mitzvot, the Lord promised Moses that his angel, Melech Yehovah, would guard and protect the Israelites until they arrived in the land of Canaan, but on the condition that the people obey his voice. This angel would drive out the enemies of Israel and assure their victory in the promised land. As Messianic believers, we hold that this was none other than Yeshua the Mashiach in his pre-incarnate state. As mediator of the covenant, Moses next reported to the Israelites all the words of the Lord and all the Mishpatim which the people responded to, and the people responded in unison, all the words which the Lord has said we will do. He then wrote down the words of the covenant in a separate book called the Book of the Covenant, Sefer Vrit. That was said to be used in a formal covenantal ceremony. Moses then built an altar at the foot of Mount Sinai with 12 pillars, one for each of the tribes, and ordered sacrifices to the Lord to be made. He then took the sacrificial blood from the offerings, threw half upon the altar, read the book to the people, and the people ratified the covenant with the words, all that the Lord says we will do and obey. Upon hearing this their ratification, Moses took the other half of the sacrificial blood and threw it on the people, saying, behold the blood of the covenant that the Lord has made with you. In accordance with all these words. Next, Moses, Aaron, and Aaron's sons Nadab and Abihu, Nadab and Abihu, and the 70 elders of Israel ascended Mount Sinai to eat the covenantal formation meal between Israel and the Lord. It was there that the elders beheld the awesome glory of the God of Israel, under whose feet was a pavement of sapphires like the very heaven for clearness. After returning from the mountain with the elders, the Lord commanded Moses to go back up and receive the tablets of stone inscribed with the Ten Commandments, as well as the additional instruction and commandments, followed by Joshua, who remained down below. Moses reascended the mountain of God, which was still covered with a shining cloud of fire. On the seventh day there he heard the voice of the Lord calling to him from the midst of the cloud of glory, and then entered into the presence of the Lord. There he remained on the mountain for a total of 40 days and 40 nights while the Israelites waited for him at the camp down below. A note about the oral and written Torah. As mentioned in the introduction, in rabbinic Jewish thinking, there are actually two Torahs: written, Torah Shebiktav, and oral, Torah Sheb Alfeh. Peh is the mouth, right? And the written refers to the 5 books of Moses: Sefer Torah, Torah scroll, or Shumash, book form of the first 5 books of Moses. Torah Shebiktav, the oral tradition, oral Torah refers to the word of mouth tradition of learning something. The idea is that God first spoke words to Moses, and then Moses responded. That is, before the actual writing down of the words of the Lord, Torah Shebiktav, there was the dialogue, Torah She'alfeh. In rabbinic tradition, oral tradition is considered more vital than the written Torah. I have a problem with that. I think just like experience, and then the experience of others, which is oral tradition, it can be thrown out altogether as just rejected. Protestants, dead orthodoxy kind of does that. And then it can be elevated to the value of the scriptures, or even higher than the scriptures, and that leads to extreme subjectivity and controlling others and just downright error. But I say to see it as valuable, provided it doesn't contradict the scriptures, is a good thing. It's more balanced than throwing it out or elevating it too high. Valuable, as long as it doesn't contradict the scriptures, yet always subordinate to the inerrancy of the scriptures, but not thrown out and not elevated to the value or higher than the value of the scriptures. That goes for your human experience, where you believe God shows you something, and that goes for oral tradition, where you believe God showed someone else something. The rabbis claim that the oral Torah was also received by Moses from God on Sinai and carries as much authority as the written Torah. However, this Torah was passed down through the centuries by word of mouth. I mean, doesn't that just, word of mouth is kind of interesting, how things, because of the human element, right? You know what I'm saying? Rather than the written word. Eventually this oral material was written down beginning in 200 AD, culminating in the written oral Torah called the Talmud, which consists of the Mishnah commentary called the Gemara. Note that the oral Torah is 50 times the size of the written Torah. Today there exist 2 versions of the Talmud: the Babylonian, Bavli, and which is the most frequently used, and the Jerusalem or Yerushalmi Talmud. Within the Mishnah are 2 different types of literature. The first is halacha, or legal literature, from halach to walk, and halachic literature interprets written Torah and seeks evidence to establish judicial laws, both civil and religious, that consist of codes of behavior and religious practice and procedures, for instance, the law of marriage and divorce and ethics of giving to charity, etc. The second type of literature is known as agadah, or lore, and is all the material contained in the Talmud that is not halacha. It consists of wise sayings or tellings of the sages. Agadah includes stories, parables, theological or ethical statements, and homilies. Note that within the Talmud itself, both agadah and halakha may be found mixed together, often with the agadah used to teach a principle based on halakha context. The Haftarah from the Prophet. Okay, before we get into Jeremiah, let's read that portion there. So that's going to be Exodus 21 up to 24:18. Go ahead.
Now these are the judgments which thou shalt set before them. If thou buy a Hebrew servant, 6 years he shall serve, and in the 7th he shall go out free for nothing. If he came by himself, he shall go out by himself. If he were married, then his wife shall go out with him. If his master has given him a wife, and she has borne him sons and 4 daughters, the wife and her children shall be her master's, and he shall go out by himself.
See how African it is? The wife. Okay.
And if the servant shall plainly say, I love my master, my wife, and my children, I will not go out free, and his master shall bring him unto the judges, he shall also bring him to the door, or unto the doorpost, and his master shall bore his ear with an awl. And
This
he
is a
shall
great
serve
picture
him.
of how we've been purchased, bought, but then God sets us free, but then we voluntarily say we want to serve out of love.
And he shall serve him forever. If a man sell his daughter to be a maidservant, she shall not go out as the men servants do. If she please not her master, who hath betrothed her to himself, then shall he let her be redeemed. To sell her unto a strange nation, he shall have no power, seeing he hath dealt deceitfully with her. And if he hath betrothed her unto his son, he shall deal with her after the manner of daughters. And if he take him another wife, her food, her raiment, and her duty of marriage shall he not diminish. And if he do these 3 unto her, if he do not these 3 unto her, then she shall go out free without money. He that smiteth a man so that he die shall surely be put to death. And if a man lie not in wait, but God deliver him into his hand, then I will appoint thee a place whither he shall flee. But if a man come presumptuously upon his neighbor to slay him with guile, thou shalt take him from mine altar, that he may die. And he that smiteth his father or his mother shall surely be put to death.
Isn't that interesting? I've never seen that before. If he lies not in wait, okay, meaning it's not premeditated murder. It's like accidental, right? It's called manslaughter. But it's interesting, it says, but God delivers him into his hand. Meaning, if you're ever in a situation where something terrible and tragic, right, happens, you can defer and say, like, yeah, I did it and I'm responsible, but ultimately, like, God kind of allowed circumstances and didn't intervene, right? So it's kind of like you can take sort of like maybe actually put the burden on the Lord. You ever seen that? Look at that. And if a man lie not in wait, meaning it's manslaughter, right? But God delivered him into his hand. You could say, like, there's some things you could say, like, God is not the author of evil, but he sort of, for some reason, like a father who drives a tractor and his son gets killed or whatever. You just have to believe that God could have intervened but didn't, and the child is now in heaven. And like, you can't carry that burden on yourself, right? You can't just blame yourself. You got to believe that, like, God had something to do with it. It's kind of like, maybe not like kind of theology we want to really talk about, but it's true. You know what I mean? I think this is actually saying something very special. Like, you can't carry that burden alone, right? You know what I'm saying? You get what I'm saying? Like, yes, you're accountable, and yes, we're going to deal with it, but like, you can't bear the weight of that burden as if you were God, right? There was other factors involved too. That's a very profound little verse there. Keep continue. So that's in Exodus 21, 13.
And he that smiteth his father or his mother shall surely be put to death. And he that stealeth a man...
I'm told that never really happened because of that prohibition. Like, it wasn't something that happened, Keep going.
He that stealeth a man and selleth him,
Okay.
or if he be found in his hand...
So this is human trafficking.
he shall surely be put to death.
Mm-hmm.
And he that curseth his father or his mother shall surely be put to death. And if men strive together with and one smite another with a stone or with his fist, and he die not, but keepeth his bed, if he arises again and walk abroad upon his staff, then shall he that smote him be quit. Only he shall pay for the loss of his time, and shall cause him to be thoroughly healed.
See, to pay his medical and restitution for his lost wages.
And if a man smite his servant or his maid with a rod, and he die under his hand, he shall surely be punished. Notwithstanding.
So I think this was like designed to get them to come to the courts rather than, mob justice, sorting it out yourself. Yeah.
African justice.
Yeah.
Notwithstanding, if he continue a day or two, he shall not be punished, for he is his money.
That's hilarious. Okay. I wonder what the significance of that is.
If men strive and hurt.
So in other words, so your best shot is he continues for a day or two and then he dies. Okay, keep going.
If men strive and hurt a woman with child, so that her fruit depart from her, and yet no mischief follow, he shall be surely punished, according
as the woman's husband
will
lay upon him.
And he shall pay as the judges determine. And if any mischief follow, then thou shalt give life for life, eye for eye, tooth for tooth, hand for hand, foot for foot, burning for burning, wound for wound, stripe for stripe. If a man smite the eye of his servant or the eye of his maid that it perish, he shall let him go free for the eye's sake. And if they smite out his manservant's tooth or his maidservant's tooth, he shall let him go free for his tooth's sake.
Wow.
If an ox gore a man or a woman that they die.
So you either got a bored ear or a lost eye. I'd rather take the bored ear and stay.
Lost tooth. Not so bad.
Okay.
If an ox gore a man or a woman that they die, then the ox shall surely be stoned, and his flesh shall not be eaten. But the owner of the ox shall be quit.
Free, I think.
But if the ox were wont to push with his horn in time past,
Ooh.
and it hath been testified to his owner, and he hath not kept him in, but that he hath killed a woman or a man,
See, that guy didn't care.
the ox shall be stoned, and the owner shall be put to death also.
Like his bull, Micah?
Mm-hmm.
That thing's known for being violent.
So whoever killed one of them is dead.
Keep going.
If there laid on him a sum of money, then he shall give for the ransom of his life whatsoever is laid upon him. Whether he hath gored a son or hath gored a daughter, according to the judgment shall it be done unto him. If the ox shall push a manservant or a maidservant, he shall give unto their master 30 shekels of silver, and the ox shall be stoned. If a man shall open a pit, or a man shall dig a pit, and not cover it, and an ox or ass fall therein.
I think this all goes to illustrate that people are more important than animals. Keep going.
The owner of the pit shall make it good, and give money unto the owner of them, and the dead beast shall be his. And if one man's ox hurt another's...
Wait. If a man shall dig an open pit, and the man shall dig a pit and not cover it, and the ox or ass falls therein, the owner of the pit shall make it good and give money unto the owner of them, and the dead beast may be his. Satan dug the pit, we fell in, Satan was judged, and God took the responsibility for the mess. It's a picture of what God did for the human race. Read it again.
If a
man dig a
open
pit,
dig a pit,
not cover it, and the ass fall in. Wait, what's the verse about? If your ass falls in on the Sabbath, right? Will he not take it out, right? Okay. Then shall the owner of the pit make it good and give money to the owner of them, and the dead beast shall be his. And if one man's ox hurt another's and he dies, then shall they sell the live ox and divide the money of it, and the dead also shall they divide. Interesting, huh? I wonder if there was a rule like if your dog bites someone. I don't think so. Or if it be known that the ox has used to push it in time past, and his owner has not kept him in, he shall surely pay for ox, and the dead shall be his own. If a man shall steal an ox or a sheep and kill it or sell it, he shall restore 5 oxen for an ox and 4 sheep for a sheep. It's kind of interesting. So like the bigger the valued item, the harsher the penalty by like a factor of 20%. 25% actually. If a thief be found breaking up and shall be smitten that he die. If a thief be found breaking up, I think that's like a house. Huh?
In the afternoon?
I think it's like a home invasion. Like breaking up the roof. Be found breaking up and be, I believe, I could be wrong on that. Be smitten that he die, there shall no blood be shed for him. Oh, how far Western civilization has gotten, huh? If the sun be risen upon him, there shall be blood shed for him. Oh. Meaning, if he does it in the daytime, you shouldn't kill him. Why? Isn't that like too brazen? Meaning, you should be able to identify him. I don't get that.
Well, maybe
For
it's
he
the next
should.
day or whatever.
For he should make full. If the sun be risen upon him, there shall be blood shed for him. For he should make full restitution of it. If he has nothing, then he shall be sold for his theft. If the sun be risen upon him, there shall be blood shed for him. I wonder what that is. Okay, so that's Exodus 22:3. Could you pull out Bible Knowledge Commentary, the brown one over there? Look up Exodus 22:3. If he has nothing, then shall he be sold for his theft. It's like modern day incarceration. If the theft be certainly found in his hand alive, whether it be an ox, ass or sheep, he shall restore double. Oh, okay. So if he steals it and kills it, just 1 second. I don't know. If he steals and kills it, it's 4 times or 5 times, depending on ox or sheep. If he steals it and it's still alive, he restores double. If a man shall kill a field or vineyard to be eaten, if a man shall cause a field or vineyard to be eaten, and shall put in his beast, and shall feed another man's field.
What?
It's like I take my sheep next door and eat the neighbor's grass. Of the beast of his own field and of the beast of his own vineyard shall he make restitution. If a fire break out and catch in thorns, so that the stacks of corn or the standing corn or the field be consumed therewith, he that kindled the fire shall surely make restitution.
Do you want to see this?
Yeah, give me 22 verse 3. Read that.
It does 1 to 4.
Yeah, go ahead.
These regulations deal with the theft of animals. These verses explain on the 8th commandment, if a person stole and then killed or sold someone's ox or sheep, he must compensate for or pay back the loss by returning the same kinds of animals. Here again, the retribution in kind, but 5 head of cattle had to be paid for the loss of 1 ox, and 4 sheep for the loss of 1 sheep. No doubt, this heavy compensation effectively deterred animal theft. If, however, the stolen animal was still alive, the remuneration was less, but still costly. If the thief burglarized in the night
Yes.
and was killed by the owner of the house, then the defendant was not guilty of murder. But if the burglar was killed during the daytime, the house owner was guilty of homicide.
And maybe
Apparently,
that's
the
just
day thief could be seen, and help could be more easily obtained.
yeah. You didn't have to do that.
Mosaic Code.
And also maybe like then, you know, if someone comes to your door and you kill him or something, you know, it's harder to say he was breaking in, right? You could, in other words, you could kill someone and say, "Oh no, he was breaking in my house time," but it was like in the daytime, right?
Yeah.
That's kind of like it's a little murky, right?
The Mosaic Code.
Wait. So in other words, you had to be very. It had to be. The law didn't make a easy provision to. Wait, hold it. It made it so that someone really had to be guilty before they were. Yeah, allowed to be. Yeah. Okay.
The
Go ahead.
Mosaic Code sought to protect human life, even that of criminals. The thief was either to compensate for the crime with his own material wealth or to be sold into slavery.
So help was more accessible, right? And it was murky or harder to say it was a home invasion and I had to kill him if in the daytime. Okay, that's good. All right, so if I break out in a catch in thorns came from the fall. So that stacks of corn and standing corn of the field. I wonder if that's like burn piles, thorns. You know what I mean? Would kindle the fight. The one that kindled it should surely make restitution. If a man shall deliver unto his neighbor money or stuff to keep, and it be stolen out of the man's house, if the thief be found, let him pay double. If the thief not be found, then the master of the house shall be brought unto the judges to see whether he has put his hand unto his neighbor's goods. All manner. So in other words, he would be a suspect.
Yeah.
Right?
Who would be the suspect?
The neighbor.
Who gave it to him?
In other words, they didn't just assume that actually it had been stolen. He now becomes a suspect.
Like if he gave something and he said it was stolen.
He goes, "It was stolen." He's now a suspect and needs to be cross-examined.
Did you see that?
All manner of trespass, whether it be for an ox, ass, or sheep, or raiment, or any other lost thing, which another challenges to be his, the cause of both parties shall come before the judges, and whom the judges shall condemn, he shall pay double unto his neighbor. If a man deliver unto his neighbor an ass, or an ox, or sheep, or beast to keep, and it die, or be hurt, or driven away, no man seeing it, then shall an oath of the Lord be between them both, that he has not put his hand unto his neighbor's goods. The owner of it shall accept thereof, and he shall not make it good. And if it be stolen from him, he shall make restitution unto the owner thereof. If Oh, okay. So, and if it dies, it'll be hurt, right? Or driven away, no man seeing it. If it be stolen from him, he shall make restitution of the honor thereof. If it be torn in pieces, let him bring it for a witness. He shall not make good that which was torn. If a man borrow aught of his neighbor and it be hurt or die, and the owner thereof being not with it, he shall surely make it good. Oh, you were negligent, huh? But if the owner thereof be with it, he shall not make it good. Or if it be a hired thing, it became for his hire. And if a man, okay, wait, where are we going up to? We're going up to 4:18. Okay, so this is 22:16. If a man entice a maid that is not betrothed and lie with her, he shall surely endow her to be his wife. I'm for that, man. I think that's still the mind of God. Now, of course, push that closed. It could be said that, you know, if it's a real jackass, that he's actually going to be a pain. He's going to be like, you know what I mean? A horrible father and husband. I don't know. But if he entice her and lie with her, he shall be endowed to be his wife. And if her father utterly refuse to give her to him, you know, he's a jackass, he shall pay money according to the dowry of virgins. Okay? Thou shalt not suffer a witch to live. Praise Jesus. Whosoever lies with a beast shall surely be put to death. He that sacrifices unto any god save unto the Lord only, he shall surely be destroyed. Thou shalt neither vex a stranger nor oppress him, for you were strangers in the land of Egypt. You shall not afflict any widow or fatherless child. If you afflict them in any wise, and they cry unto me at all unto me, I will surely hear their cry, and my wrath shall wax hot, and I will kill you with a sword, and your wives shall be widows and your children's fathers. If you lend money to any of the people that is poor by thee, shall not be to him as a usurer, interest. Now they shall lay upon him usury. If thou at all take thy neighbor's raiment to pledge, and thou shalt deliver it unto him by that the sun goes down, for that it is his covering only, it is his raiment for his skin, wherewith shall he sleep. It shall come to pass when he cries unto me, I will hear, for I am gracious. Thou shalt not revile the gods, nor curse and the gods, there speaks of judges, nor does contempt a court, nor curse the ruler of thy people. Thou shalt not delay to offer the first of thy ripe fruits, or of thy liquors, fullness, tear, the firstborn of thy sons, thou shalt give unto me. Likewise shalt thou do with thine oxen and thy sheep. 7 days it shall be with his dam, on the 8th day thou shalt give it to me. And he shall be holy, and ye shall be holy man unto me. Neither shall you eat any flesh that is torn of a beast in the field. You shall cast it to the dogs. So that's what you should do with those bones, deer bones. Cast it to the dogs. Okay, actually we got to deal with that, by the way. 23:1, thou shalt not raise a false report, but put not thy hand with the wicked, to be an unrighteous witness. Thou shalt not follow a multitude to do evil. That's why you never get involved in a riot. If you were there on January 6th, you leave. You never get involved in a riot. 23:2, the spirit of it is a good one. Thou shalt not follow a multitude to do evil, neither shalt thou speak in a cause to decline after many to wrest judgment. Don't speak in a cause to decline after many to wrest judgment. Don't answer. Neither shall thou countenance a poor man in his cause. Alright, doesn't matter if it's a majority Doesn't matter if he's poor. If thou meet an enemy's ox or his ass going astray, thou shalt surely bring it back to him again. If thou see the ass of him that hates thee lying under his burden, and thou would forbear to help him, thou shalt surely help with him. Thou shalt not risk the judgment of thy poor in his cause. Keep thee far from a false matter, and the innocent and righteous slay thou not. For I will not justify the wicked. And thou shalt take no gift, for the gift blinds the wise and perverts the words of the righteous. So no bribery and corruption. Also thou shalt not oppress a stranger, for you know that the heart of a stranger, seeing you were strangers in the land of Egypt. 6 years you'll sow your land and shall gather, and the fruits thereof. The 7th year you shall let it rest and lie still, that the poor of thy people may eat. What they leave, the beast of the field shall eat. In like manner you'll deal with the vineyard and with thy olive yard. 6 days shall they do their work, and on the 7th day shall rest. And then oxen, then ass may rest. That then oxen, then ass may rest, and the son of your handmaid and stranger shall be refreshed. Good word there. That's a good, powerful word there. I'm going to look that up. Refreshed. And all things that I've said unto you, be circumspect or careful, and make no mention of the name of the Lord, of other gods. Make no mention of the name of other gods, neither let it be heard out of thy mouth. 3 times a year you'll keep the feast unto me in the year. Thou shalt keep the feast of unleavened bread. Shall eat unleavened bread 7 days, that I commanded thee in the time of appointed on the night on the month of Abib, for in it I came out of Egypt, and none shall appear before me empty. The feast of harvest, the first fruits of the labors, which thou hast sown in the field, and the feast of the ingathering, which is the end of the 9th year. You gather the labors in the field. 3 times a year, all your males shall appear before me. When you left Egypt, when you sow, and when you harvest. Shall offer the blood. Thou shalt not offer the blood of the sacrifice with leavened bread, neither eat the fat of my sacrifice until the morning. The first of the first fruits of thy land that shall bring into the house of the Lord thy God. Thou shalt not see the kid in his mother's milk. Behold, I send an angel before thee to keep thee in the way, and to bring thee into the place which I prepared. Beware of him, and obey his voice. Provoke him not, for he will not pardon your transgressions, for my name is in harm. This is all the system under the law.
My name is
Very interesting. My name is in him, sorry. But if you shall indeed obey his voice and do all that I speak, then I will be an enemy to your enemies, and adversity to your adversaries. My angel shall go before thee and bring thee unto the Amorites and Hittites and Perizzites and Canaanites and Hivites and Jebusites, and I'll cut them off. Thou shalt not bow down to their gods, nor serve them, nor do after their works, but thou shalt utterly overthrow them and quite break down their images. Quit break down their images, and shall serve the Lord your God, and he shall bless your bread and your water, and take your sickness away from the midst of thee, and there nothing shall cast, and there shall nothing cast their young, nor be barren in thy land. The number of thy days I will fulfill. I will send my fear before thee, and will destroy all the people to whom thou shalt come, and will make all your enemies turn their backs unto me, and I will send hornets before thee, which shall drive out the Hivite and the Canaanite and the Hivites from before thee, and I will drive them out from before thee in 1 year. I will not drive them out before thee in 1 year, lest the land be desolate and the beasts of the field multiply against thee. But little by little I will drive them out from before thee. Process, huh? Not instant, it's process. Until thou be increased and inherit the land. And I will set thy bounds from the Red Sea unto the sea of the Philistines. Praise Jesus. And from the desert unto the river. For I will deliver the inhabitants of the land into your hand, and thou shalt drive them out before thee. Thou shalt make no covenant with them. Thou shalt make no covenant with them. Thou shalt make no covenant with them. God have mercy, they should walk away from that deal. Thou shalt make no covenant with them, nor with their gods. No compromise, right? They shall not dwell in thy land, lest they make thee sin against me. For if thou serve other gods, it will surely be a snare unto thee. And he said unto Moses, Come up unto the Lord, thou and Aaron and Nadab and Abihu and 70 of the elders of Israel, worship ye far off. Moses alone shall come near the Lord, but they shall not come nigh. Neither shall the people go up with him. And Moses came up and told the people all the words of the Lord, and all the judgment. All the people answered with one voice and said, All the words of the Lord, which the Lord had said, we will do. And Moses wrote all the words of the Lord, and rose up early in the morning, and builded an altar under the hill, and 12 pillars, according to the 12 tribes. And he set young men of the children of Israel, which offered doctrine of young men, which offered burnt offerings and sacrificed peace offerings and oxen unto the Lord. He included them, huh? And Moses took half the blood and put it in basins, and half, and he sprinkled on the altar. He took the book of the covenant and read it in the audience of all the people, and they said all that the Lord had said we will do, and be obedient. And Moses took the blood and sprinkled good intentions. Good, and then sprinkled it on the people and said, Behold, the blood of the covenant which the Lord has made with you concerning these words, and went up. Then went up Moses and Aaron and Nadab and Abihu and the 70 of the elders of Israel, and they saw the God of Israel, and there was under his feet as it were paved work of sapphire stone, and as it were the body of heaven in its clearness. And upon the nobles of the children of Israel he laid not his hand. Also they saw God and did eat and drink. The Lord said unto Moses, Come up to me into the mount, and be there, and I'll give you the tables of stone, and a law and commandments which I have written, and that thou might teach them. Moses rose up, and his minister Joshua, and Moses went up into the mount of God, and he said unto the elders, Tarry here for us until we come again unto you. And behold, Moses, Aaron and Hur are with you. If any man have any matters to do, let him come unto them. And Moses went up into the mountain, and a cloud covered the mountain, and the glory of the Lord abode upon Mount Sinai, and the cloud covered it 6 days. On the seventh day he called unto Moses out of the midst of the cloud, and the sight of the glory of the Lord was like a devouring fire on top of the mountain in the eyes of the children of Israel. And Moses went into the midst of the cloud and got him up into the mountain. Moses was in the mountain 40 days and 40 nights. Okay, now for the Haftarah is Jeremiah, providing a stark contrast with this parashah. Okay, so this is 34, 8-22. Mishpatim opens with the commandments about releasing slaves. But the reading from Jeremiah reports how the people of Judah betrayed the slaves of their day. King Zedekiah had earlier made a covenant with the people to free all the Hebrew slaves according to the 7-year cycle permissible slavery mentioned in 21:2-6 of Exodus, hoping that by doing so God would be merciful and spare Judah from a Babylonian invasion. After a while it appeared that the Babylonians were not going to attack Jerusalem, and the crisis seemed to pass. Treacherously, however, the former slave owners reneged on their covenant and took back their slaves. The Lord then came to Jeremiah, and God rebuked the people for their perfidy and pronounced judgment on them. Instead of withdrawing from Jeremiah, the Lord would now bring the Babylonians back, and they would raise Jerusalem and all the cities of Judah entirely. Thus says the Lord, You have not obeyed me to proclaim you liberty, everyone to his brother and to his neighbor. Behold, I proclaim to you liberty to the sword, pestilence, and to famine, declares the Lord. I'll make you a horror of all the kingdoms of the earth, and the men who transgressed my covenant and did not keep the terms of the covenant that they made before me will I give into the hand of their enemies. Their dead bodies shall be food for the birds of the air and the beasts of the earth. And Zedekiah, king of Judah, and his officials I will give unto the hand of their enemies, and before the hand of those who seek their lives, into the hand of the army of the king of Babylon, which was withdrawn from you. Behold, I will command, declares the Lord, and bring them back to the city, and they will fight against it and take it and burn it with fire. And I will make the cities of Judah desolation without inhabitant. Note that in these last verses of the Haftarah, verse 25 and 26 of 33, were added by the sages to soften the message and to provide hope. And they will fight against it, take it, and make the city of the desolate. Read 33:25. Ki yesh tichva, for there is hope always for Israel, since God's sovereign purpose are fixed according to the counsel of his own good pleasure.
33:25 is the one that says, thus says the Lord, my covenant be not with day and night, and if I have not appointed the ordinances of heaven and earth, then will I cast away the seed of Jacob and David my servant, so that I will not take any of this seed to be rulers over the seed of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. For I will cause their captivity to return and have mercy on them.
He connects it to the sun and the moon and the stars, the ordinances, in the sky. Again. All right, so that's 33:25 to 26, and then 34:8 to 22. Now we're just going to go straight to Brit Hadashah in Matthew 5:38 to 42. Read that. Matthew 5:38 to 42. Yeshua transcends the sage's interpretation of eye for an eye and tooth for tooth by teaching that we're to overcome evil with love. His ethic of love trumps the exact demands required in the canons of justice. Note that Yeshua not only teaches as if he had authority such as Moses, but abrogates Moses' teaching himself, therefore implying his full authority and deity. Go.
You have heard that it has been said, an eye for an eye and a tooth for a tooth. But I say unto you that ye resist not evil, but whatsoever shall smite thee on thy right cheek, turn him the other also. And if any man will sue thee at the law and take away thy coat, let him have thy cloak also. And whosoever shall compel you to go a mile, go with him 2. Give to him that asketh of thee, and from him that would borrow of thee, turn not away.
And then we won't read it, but Matthew 17:1 to 11, which is the transfiguration, where Moses, Elijah, and Christ, and he tells them to listen to Christ, and the cloud goes, and Jesus only is left behind. The passage from Matthew 17:1 to 11 indicates how Yeshua is greater than Moses. By the way, this principle is also in Hebrews, who incidentally finally did make it into the promised land. Moses gave the Torah from Mount Sinai as a mediator between the people and the Lord, but Yeshua stood on the Mount of Transfiguration with both Moses and the prophet Elijah at his side. Peter wanted to show the honor to all three, and the voice of the Father was heard with the cloud saying, "This is my beloved, in whom I'm well pleased. Listen to him." When Peter and the other two heard the voice, they fell down terrified. Yeshua then came and touched them. "Rise and have no fear." And when they lifted up their eyes, they saw no one but Yeshua only. Okay, so next week this was Mishpatim, Judgements. Next week is Terumah, which is contributions, taken from Exodus 25:1. Speak to the people, make me a contribution. All right. Amen.